Welcome to one of the finest and most unusual health institutions in America. This is the famous Spears Chiropractic Hospital, mecca of health seekers from all over the world, located on 15 acres in the heart of beautiful mile-high Denver, Colorado, with the magnificent Rocky Mountains in the background. Denver is rightly called climate capital of the world, renowned as a health center because of this incomparable climate, clean, dry mountain air, sunny days year-round, great factors in restoring patients to a pleasurable state of mental and physical well-being. You're never a stranger at Spears. Visitors are impressed at the size and beauty of the grounds and buildings even before they enter the 600-bed hospital. This is the famous chiropractic insignia, the symbol of health and hope to more than 40 million people in the United States. Sick and crippled pass through these portals looking for the help that only chiropractic can give. This young lady, Sally Martin, is seeking aid for her brother, stricken with an ailment termed incurable by medical doctors. As Miss Martin passes through the spacious lobby, she is aware of an atmosphere as pleasing and welcoming as a friendly hand clasp. Approaching the information clerk, she inquires for Dr. Dan Spears, co-director of the hospital.
Dr. Spears, that's fine. Bring her in, please.
A receptionist accompanies Miss Martin to the office of Dr. Dan and Dr. Howard Spears. The latter is also a co-director of the hospital.
Come in, please.
Dr. Howard Spears, I'd like you to meet Miss Martin.
Miss Martin?
How do you do? Dr. Dan Spears, Miss Martin.
How you do, Miss Martin? Have a seat, please.
Thank you.
Miss Martin, how do you like our mile-high city?
I think Denver is very beautiful.
Miss Martin and I have been corresponding recently regarding her brother. She wrote me she would be in Denver this week, so I asked her to come out and visit our hospital.
That's fine. Miss Martin, while you're here,
Thank you very much.
Good. Then we'll have one of our staff doctors show you through. Dr. Dan, would you call Dr. Isaac?
Isaac to come to my office, please.
Dr. Spears, what conditions do you treat here?
We treat most all illnesses here, Miss Martin, both acute and chronic, in patients of all ages. You might also be interested to know the Spears Chiropractic Hospital was founded by our late uncle, Dr. Leo Spears. Come in, please. Dr. Isaac, meet Miss Martin. How do you do?
How do you do?
We would like for you to show her through the hospital, please.
I'd be delighted. Will you please follow me?
Thank you.
Certainly.
There is little of the ordinary hospital atmosphere at Spears. Deep, comfortable chairs and sofas, soft lights, growing plants and flowers against a background of gleaming floors, delicately tinted walls, hand-wrought iron railings, mirrors, creating an effect of home-like charm plus dignity. Wide corridors, so aptly named halls of health. To the admissions office, where incoming patients register and are assigned to rooms. The examination room is next. While Miss Martin is not permitted to enter inasmuch as an examination is in progress, the doctor explains to her the various procedures. Complete physical, chest, abdomen, heart, lungs, eyes, ears, nose, throat, in fact, a thorough going over from head to toe. Then the visitor is conducted to the clinical and chemical laboratory, called with good reason the heart of the hospital. The visitor is permitted a quick view of this department from the doorway, while her companion describes the important work carried on here. The many tests: blood pressure, heartogram to register the condition of heart valves and heart muscles, the colorimeter, standard equipment for blood chemistry determination, blood pattern as seen through the microscope, complete urinalysis and basal metabolism are among other diagnostic procedures that take place in Spears Laboratory, which is one of the finest and most completely equipped in the country. Adjoining the chemical laboratory is one of the X-ray laboratories, equipped with ultra-modern facilities, manned by well-trained radiologists, skilled not only in taking exposures, but in reading and interpreting the X-ray films, locating pathological conditions, pinpointing malalignment of vertebrae, subluxations and distortions of the spine. Here are X-ray films of an abnormally curved spine, scoliosis, contrasted with a normal spine. As might be expected, the hospital abounds in adjusting tables. Every doctor has one. And every doctor is a master in the fine art of palpating and analyzing the spine, as well as giving corrective spinal adjustments. Now our visitor and her conductor enter another important department, hydrotherapy, where every type of bath and water treatment is available. The steam bath helps relieve nervous tension, effective in treating arthritis, rheumatism, and other crippling ailments, also an aid in reducing, eliminating poisons from system, increasing circulation. Whirlpool baths, the leg and arm type shown here, are excellent aids for most kinds of paralysis and muscle ailments, spastic cerebral palsy, post-polio, strokes, and a host of other troubles, including circulatory conditions. The sitz baths in the rear of this room are designed for special therapeutic purposes. Amazing benefits are achieved by the needle shower, shown in this booth, not only in treating nervous and crippling disorders such as arthritis, rheumatism, but in bronchial troubles, asthma, circulatory disorders. The tub whirlpool baths in this section of hydrotherapy are especially helpful in treating multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, polio, and other paralytic diseases. Also arthritis, rheumatism, and many nervous disorders. Colon irrigation. The great majority of patients arriving at Spears Hospital, in addition to their other physical troubles, are victims basically of toxemia, the vicious complaint constipation that has been called mother and father of all diseases, and which tends to complicate and aggravate all other conditions. This hygienic measure is a painless, pleasant, and effective approach to many health problems. Our colon equipment is especially built for Spears, and our technicians are qualified and well-trained. Spears is rightfully proud of its spinal traction rooms. These traction tables were designed by Spears and are manufactured on the premises in our own shops. Taut spinal muscles, circulatory ailments, displaced organs, spinal abnormalities, and many other conditions are relieved by motorized traction. Spinalators act as an aid and comfort for various back troubles, also for lumbago, sciatica, bronchial asthma, lung exercise, and an aid to breathing. Treatment by vertical neck traction is especially effective for compressed and thinned cervical, back of neck discs, cervical arthritis, and many other disorders of the neck, including whiplash. If your feet hurt, you hurt all over. A common saying and much too true for comfort. The foot vibrator works wonders not only for those poor abused pedal extremities, but aids circulation and relaxation of the whole body. One of the most popular exercisers for the overweight patients is this midriff vibrator, which is not only helpful in smoothing off unwanted inches from oversized hips and abdomens, but is wonderful for toning up the muscular system. The tilt table affords an anti-gravity position beneficial to the whole body, from head to feet, especially helpful in restoring blood circulation to the brain lymph. Blood stasis in legs aids in such conditions as dropped or toast organs. Lax and flabby abdominal muscles. Restores abdominal tone. Replaces visceral organs. This is another type of versatile traction table, the tongue table, which gives excellent spinal extension and is especially beneficial in alleviating low back conditions, spondylolisthesis, and other similar conditions. The physiotherapy section is another miracle-working department wherein is developed to the utmost the principles of therapeutic exercise which have become scientific procedures, muscle re-education and rehabilitation through the use of Spears' specially designed apparatus are almost unlimited in scope. Every piece of equipment is tailored to suit the needs of the patient, to help bring back to normal the victims of paralysis, atrophy, and deformity, to restore use of paralyzed arms and legs, to strengthen back, chest, and abdominal muscles. Motorized leg exercisers are used by patients who have not yet reached the stage of recovery where they can pedal bicycles by their own power. Hand grip exercisers for aid in restoring hand and finger muscles. Leg muscles are strengthened by another device, powered by motor, which automatically provides movement for inert limbs. Another motorized apparatus helps strengthen arm and shoulder muscles. Spears' own standing board, shown here, is a unique device. Many patients come to us after having been confined to bed for weeks or months. It is important that these patients be placed in a standing position. The standing board solves this problem simply and in an amazingly effective manner. In the case of hemiplegia, paraplegia, quadriplegia, this apparatus improves circulation, breathing, and nutrition. It should be remembered that all of these devices and other modalities used at Spears, wonderful as they are used only as adjuncts to the chiropractic adjustments and massage given to patients not once, but in many cases, several times daily and during the night when necessary. At Spears, the patient comes first. His needs are paramount. All is planned carefully to facilitate rapid recovery of health and return to normal living. Patients confined to bed have other devices, such as this trapeze bar, for exercising arms, shoulders, and back muscles, also for lending assistance in sitting up. Demonstrated here is the first walker, another Spears invention, an aid to the patient learning to walk again. Straps are attached to feet which are drawn step by step by the therapist in front of the device, while the attendant at rear propels the equipment. To see this pretty young woman walking in normal fashion, one would never suspect that she had been badly crippled with rheumatoid arthritis, able only to hobble along when she entered Spears. Her hands, too, were virtually useless and gnarled with the arthritic deformity. While treatments of all sorts might seem to crowd the day of the patient, it's not all work and no play. Recreations, hobbies, interests of all types are encouraged for leisure hours. Books and magazines abound in the solariums for those who like to read. Others, like these two gals, enjoy jigsaw puzzles. Another lady patient finds crocheting not only a fascinating occupation, but excellent exercise for restoring strength and flexibility to weak fingers and hands. Booties are her specialty, and she's such a fast worker that fellow patients insist she has shod hundreds of babies from coast to coast since she became a patient at Spears. Chess and checkers are popular with the men folks here as elsewhere. It's a natural tranquilizer and takes the mind off one's troubles. And among the teenage group, parcheesi and similar games with interested kibitzers help to enliven recess periods between treatments and rest times. Now, these girls are from opposite ends of the continent, strangers until they met at Spears, now fast friends. This is one of the largest of the wards for men, a pleasant, sunny, homey room. A card game is generally in progress during recreation time. While they don't play for stakes, there's plenty of excitement and good-natured ribbing among both the players and the onlookers. In addition to their own particular brand of sports, all patients can enjoy television and radio, whether they are domiciled in private rooms or wards. There are also TV sets in the solariums throughout the hospital. Special entertainments are also arranged for the patients several nights a week. Religious services for all denominations are available on Sunday and during the week. All aboard for the children's floor, going up. While Spears is proud of all its departments, the one in which the greatest pride is taken is Pediatrics. The rest of the hospital has its miracles, but in Pediatrics, miracles are everyday happenings, happy happenings. Now, this tiny patient is thoroughly enjoying the correctional exercise. The head pediatrician is explaining distortion of skull and pressure on various brain areas. Massage and passive exercise are also valuable in rehabilitating small bodies as well as large ones, especially youngsters suffering from birth injuries or afflicted with polio, muscular dystrophy, and other crippling disorders. Equipment such as standing boards and even massage and adjusting tables are sized to fit the small fry. This is one of the children's large sunny playrooms. Visitors, especially parents, exclaim over the fact that soon after children arrive, they settle down to enjoying themselves. There's rarely a case of homesickness here. As you can see, much of their play is also beneficial exercise in walkers, tricycles, strollers, kiddie cars, bicycles, and even the fascinating bucking horses. Ah, and now for the pause that refreshes in the children's dining room. After all that work in the playroom, a guy sure needs a drink, and fruit juice sure hits the spot. This is the time of day variously known as the coffee break and tea time or the cocktail hour. The kiddies don't care what you call it. They just lap it up. And speaking of drinking, eating is another important part of the life of a patient at Spears. The spacious modern kitchen, equipped throughout with stainless steel, is a busy place while the preparation of meals is in progress. The best of food, an infinite variety of fresh vegetables, fruits, fish, and meats are served, with special diets tailored to the needs of individual patients. All breads, rolls, cakes, and pastries are baked in our own ovens. While there are diet kitchens throughout the hospital from which to serve bedfast patients and others who desire tray service brought to the room, most patients, even those who use wheelchairs, crutches, and canes, prefer to go to the main dining room, not only for the excellent meals, but for the good companionship. Spears is a meeting place for patients from all over the world, from all walks of life, all ages, victims of various ailments, yet here they soon become kindred spirits. Lifelong friendships are established within these walls and along these kindly halls of health. Visiting time at Spears is also the period for outdoor walks and other activities. Patients are urged to take a constitutional, so there is a general exodus from the main lobby and through the many other doors for this pleasant outing. Fun in the sun is the order of the day. Here are more examples of that celebrated spirit of Spears, of friendly kindness and compassion for others, forgetfulness of their own ailments in their eagerness to aid fellow patients, patients helping patients, a spirit manifest throughout the hospital. Those who are blessed with use of arms and legs pushing others in wheelchairs, others playing with children. In addition to the beautifully landscaped grounds and smooth green lawns, equipped with every type of comfortable garden chair, couch, chaise lounge, rocker sets, and gliders, Spears has large playgrounds, furnished with slides, swings, merry-go-rounds, seesaws, and other fun devices for youngsters. Also, other sport fields for horseshoes, croquet, badminton, volleyball. And now to show our visitor a few motion picture films of the living testimonials with which the hospital records abound. The patients who limped in or were carried in on litters and walk out under their own power. This man's back was broken during the fighting on Iwo Jima in 1945. He was a helpless bed patient for years before coming to Spears. In just a few months, he was restored to normal health and normal life. This attractive young lady limped into the hospital, a victim of multiple sclerosis. Her medical doctors told her there was no cure. She must just learn to live with it. But Spears' doctors helped her to live without it, and she too returned home in good health and has since married. This pretty youngster was one of the pitiful polio cripples who came to Spears after other forms of therapy had failed to help her. She was able to discard her crutches within several weeks and not only learn to walk again, but to dance as well, much to the delight of her family. and even to turn a few somersaults to astonish her doctors. Another crippling disease known as Perthes, pronounced Partes, was the demoralizing ailment that brought this little fellow to Spears. His hip joints seriously damaged, his case pronounced hopeless. But Spears' doctors did not so regard it, and that their efforts to aid this child were rewarded are proven by the subsequent pictures of a lively, active, healthy, real boy. At last reports, he was a normal teenager, above the average physically and mentally, a champion roller skater. Rheumatoid arthritis is a cruel crippler that attacks young and old. Walking, even with a cane, was a painful effort for this young woman when she came to Spears. Her hands, too, were deformed with the disease. But time and treatment remedied all that. She walked without the slightest limp before leaving the hospital and had completely recovered the use of her hands. Pott's disease, tuberculosis of the spine, had crippled this pretty little girl who arrived at Spears weighted down with heavy body braces, with the sad prognosis from her medical doctors, incurable. Spears' doctors refused to accept this cruel verdict. It was a long, slow process, but the victory at the end of many months was well worthwhile when they watched the running, jumping youngster. She's now 15 years old and a beautiful specimen of young girlhood, takes part in all school sports, and is especially fond of swimming, she writes. One of the many patients who came to Spears in a wheelchair as the result of an injury to her spine due to an accidental blow, this attractive young woman was temporarily paralyzed from the waist down. After several weeks' sojourn in the hospital, she was graduated from her wheelchair to a cane. Then, in another month, came the happy day when she could walk alone, without any support. Another of those patients who was wheeled in and walked out. Just a misstep off a curb brought about the back wrench that crippled this stalwart chap and resulted in an agonizing condition known as herniated disc. When he entered Spears, he was truly a crooked man with an S-shaped spine and walked, he said, like a crab. When he left the hospital several months later, he had completely recovered. No pain, no limp, no curving spine. He told his doctors, "You've made a new man of me."